Alright, we'll get started with a new part of the website. We left off with querying just the nav items and showing them on the front end, so now we actually have to do stuff with it. And then I'll also likely do the footer. I don't know how much of the footer we'll be able to do because that's going to be a newer component, so I'm going to have to build that from scratch, which is not a big deal. But we're going to take a look at the code that I have for the nav now and really just use that to refactor it with Tailwind, because I would like to have it be a little more consistent and a little bit easier to navigate. Honestly though, it would be nice to use SCSS, but it's just not what I'm looking to do with this project. So we're going to jump in and go with the code here, which first we need to go to our terminal and do pnpm run dev. All right, that's done, and then we can come back here and just refresh. And so let that load up. And so here we can see the nav. We have a logo, kind of. This needs to be a placeholder, so this is going to be something else entirely soon. And then we've got our home, portfolio, industries, which does pop down. We'll take a look at that. And about. And actually, I want to go into the back end of payload and let's do payload. Nope, it's dev. And then use a short little password there. No, I'm not going to change it because it does not matter. And we're going to go to our nav, and we're going to add, oh, we do have a contact. Oh, okay. So it's there, it just has some hover styles on it. No biggie. All right, so we'll get to work on what we have here. So let's get it small enough. Let's just bring it over there. All right, so we have a few things going on. So we'll start from the top though. We have in our layout this nav. So this is the parent component, which then inside of it has this return here. I don't need this. And so we have a, I guess I don't need payload here either. We do need nav logo. I wonder if I can set this to be, what happens if I do that? Yeah, so that's not going to do anything I want. All right, so we'll come back to that. I wonder if I can do, just for now, class name, classes, whoops, dot brand. Yeah, okay, at least it gets it off of the edge there. I can get rid of get payload, config promise, and get payload. Okay, so I don't need any of that, and eventually we'll get rid of the classes, but right here we have, it's an async function, that is the component, and here we have a response that is looking for the nav payload type. So I named it as navigation, and this is a custom function that is getting a cached global using unstable cache. So as more cache rules become stable with Next 15 and all that, this may change, but this is really just what this is doing. So the get global function here is looking for slug of the global. I just got a notification that scared the bejesus out of me. Whew, I don't even know what that was. Anyway, we have the slugs that's set in payload, and then the depth that I want to search relationships. Since it's a global, don't really care too much about that. And it's going to fetch from payload that specific global with that specific slug, with that specific depth, and return it in order to be used here in the get cached global. So that's that. And then we have just our general nav with a brand and the actual links themselves. So now we're going to use this, the CSS that I already have, and rewrite it in Tailwind just to make things more consistent. So if I go here, let's just click into nav container. Oops. classes maybe. Yep, there we go. So there's going to be some things that we need to keep in here, like the menu bars, unless Tailwind has a way to do, without going into Tailwind UI. Select menus, cursor. Doesn't look like it. So we're going to keep the SVG hamburger menu thing here, and that's no biggie. So we've got that. The background color does not make sense because it no longer exists as brand dark blue. So if I want to do this, I actually need to get rid of this, because in the menu bars, and I'm actually too low, like I don't want to be talking about this right now. So we have the menu bars here, and I set the background color with Tailwind. So we'll come back to that. All right, so in the nav, we're looking at the classes, and we want to go all the way up to, let's start with nav container. So I'm going to search for that. There's one here, which is commented out. Is there another one? There's only that one. So that class actually does nothing. And so I am starting to see the appeal of Tailwind a little bit, where there's no more unnecessary CSS that gets sent. But honestly, that is partially because of my disorganization. So I won't blame all of that on SCSS. All right, so then we have our classes navbar. If we go here, navbar, we're going to have, let's close that and then have this split over here. So classes navbar, instead of that, we're just gonna go padding top. I think if it's half a rem, it should be 2. And then I should be able to comment that out, and nothing should change. Perfect. And then if I can do Z 100, okay, I don't know if I need 100, but let's set it as high as I can. And then we'll do align. Oop, no, so we need to do items center, width is full. We'll do a shadow medium with, let's do the, just so we can match what we had, we'll do the light blue, no, like the light green. So shadow, light green, and we'll do transition. I don't know what that transition is doing, so we'll come back to that. All right, and then we need flex, and then content between, and that should cover this and this and this and this, this, and then I need relative and this. So all of that should amount to nothing, except for that change in the shadow there at the bottom. And so I'm actually going to change the shadow to be small because it's not supposed to be that apparent. Now if I do that, it goes away, just looks like a nice little fuzzy line. And so I have this transition here, and I need to figure out why. I believe it is because of the mobile size. So if I shrink this down, that shouldn't have done that. Well, no, I wouldn't have a hover size there. So navbar, let's get rid of this since I have everything done. The problem that I'm seeing now is that this is not putting space between. So why not? So I have our bar, our brand. So what are we missing? Center, width full, shadow small, shadow light green, flex, Content between and relative. Let's get rid of relative and see what happens. Nothing. I need relative. I guess. And so I don't have this sticky at all. And there's different ways to do. There are different ways to do the nav menu. Like if you want to have it stick to the top, you can do that. But there's also, I've seen tons of websites that don't do that. So I didn't do that for this. All right, so let's see what else is using navbar. We have here navbar at the small screen size. So we'll do next to, so we don't need to change padding top, but a small padding bottom of 2 comes in. So that's top and bottom, left and right is still 0. So I can, let's actually set px to 0. And then, yeah, so the display at small break, I don't know why I did it that way either. Flex should be fine. I'll take a look at that and see what I did, but first I'm really just trying to figure out navbar. So navbar, so that should be it, but we do not see these separated, so let's see why not. So if I do justify content space between, all right, so maybe I just did a typo. So what do we have here? Content between. Content between. Interesting. So oh, it's a Tailwind thing. So I'm looking for justify content, but really it should just be justify. We do between, and then that should fix it. There we go. So now that's doing exactly what it's supposed to do at all screen sizes, and we're good there. All right, so navbar is gone now. So then we have brand, and then I will have an image in here, but for now the brand part, we're going to do, that was the wrong way. No, it wasn't. I did it right. So for brand, we're going to do a padding Y of, I think that would be, it's less than 2. So we'll do 1.5. And we'll do padding right. Or do they do end or right? Padding, I'll do end at 4. And then padding start 0. And so if I get rid of that, nothing should happen to brand except maybe get a little bit further away. Nope, perfect. And then we will do a width of 10%, which can I do 1 out of 10? Let's see what our width options are here. Width. We have 50%, 25%, 50%. I do not see a 10%, so let's see what's the next closest. 25, 16. So we could do 1/12. Which would be the closest, I think. So we'll do a width of 1/12. But if there's a way to do custom, which I know there are for all of these. So let's see what this looks like. Width of 10%, and we'll do the same thing, height 10%. Then nothing should change. Oh, because I didn't comment that out. Now nothing should change. We're good. Then we can do text center, and then do our margin y at 0, m e 0, and then ms of 4. And then we'll do decoration. I'm getting none. So let's look at text decoration, because maybe I'm making an assumption here. Text decoration. Okay, so yeah, I was making an assumption. So I have text decoration line of, oh, no underline. And then what would white space be? I don't even know. White space. No rep. Okay. White space, no rep. And now if I get rid of that, nothing should change. And so here there's actually supposed to be an image. So we will leave this how it is, but I'll leave a comment out here. Let's do an image tag, next image. Really, actually, so it needs to be next object, or image object, because that's my custom component that adds schema automatically. So I'm going to mute that though, I'm going to comment that out, and then if we do class name equals, we'll say, so it's width and height of 50 and margin of 0. So I know M0 is going to be our 0 margin. And then if I come here and do height, I can do, is there a pixel value, or do I have to do that automatic or manually? I have to do it manually. So I can come down here just to make sure I know how to do this. We'll do height 50 pixels, width 50 pixels. All right, so now I can comment that out and make sure brand okay, and then the brand image isn't going to change. So we're good there, and we can actually just delete all of that. Perfect. Cool, so we've replaced all of the old styles here with Tailwind. And we can go to our nav bar now, which I already have pulled up. So what this is doing is it's client because I need to use the window size. So and I'm doing that in a use effect. So here, we don't need to see any of this, but it's taking a nav links array, which has all of these items in it, with the current route being taken by use path name. So we're storing that there in current route, and then I'm setting state of the hamburger menu being open or closed. So is open is set to false initially, but I have this click handler that sets it to the opposite of what it's currently set to. So I pass the function handle click, then has a function within it set as open, which is then handling the click and saying, take the current state of whatever is attached to this click handler and return the opposite. So then that's where the use effect comes into play. I have here, instead of trying to figure out the best break place for this in CSS, I can just do it using the window. If we look at 668 of the outer width, so whatever that's going to be, I don't actually know. But there, pops open, set open is set to false. My dog is Colin. And now he's gone. All right, back to it. So we come down to our, so use effect. This is whenever the window is resized to greater than 668, it changes is open to false. And the reason I'm doing that is so if this is open and I open this up and I size back down, the hamburger menu does not stay open. So I could do that, and I don't think it would be the end of the world, but it just was not what I wanted to do. So if I have this open, oh, I guess I wouldn't. So this is why I did it that way. So I could restyle this, but it's really just so much easier to have it close when I resize my window. So now we come down here. This first thing here is the hamburger menu, and I know that because I have menu bars. And so I have classes nav clicked, which means that it switches over to the X and then back to the hamburger menu. So we're going to leave it like that. Do when is open, nav is clicked, which this is what is open is nav clicked, and then menu bars pops up when it is no longer open. So let's take a look here. We already set the background color. We're going to go to our menu toggle class, and we're going to change it to Tailwind. Menu toggle. So at the small break, the display is set to none. So let's see what happens with the small here. Display. Okay, so I'm making assumptions again, which, would have made sense, but display hidden. Okay. That is something else. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that and see what the Tailwind class does. Okay, so the small screen size is maybe a little too small. If I set this right, there we go. So it stays there, but then before it gets to the 668 where things open up, it goes away. So that's not going to work for me. What do I do then? So let's see, what is, wrong thing. I'm searching within Tailwind. So medium, let's do screen sizes. Let's see. So I should be able to do then. Is max what I'm looking at here? Oop. I'm looking at min. Okay. So the minimum, we'll do 668 pixels then. If I do that, he's there, he's gone. But it does work as intended. It just needs to be out further, which needs to be 689. If it's not inclusive though, so 690. 690, and there we go. So we have that there. It then will go away and then comes back. Perfect. So now we can definitely delete that. And then we have, there's no other menu toggle, so I can get rid of that. Now when it's open, I need, let's do this. Let's take, well, I have nav clicked. Okay, I have them both. So I can do a few things here. So I don't know if there's any mask functionality within Tailwind, which is kind of a bummer if that's the case. Mask. What am I looking for? No repeat. So that's just for background, which is not at all what I'm looking for. Unless it works for mask as well, which I don't think it does. Which means that a lot of this CSS can't go away because I need to use SVGs here where I can mask the image. So the things that can go away though is I don't need background color. The height can be abstracted out, so we can do height full. We can do cursor pointer. We can do padding, which 1.25 is more than, so we have 4. I don't want to mess with this too much, so I'm just going to do 1.25 rem, do our own custom one with a margin of 8 and a high Z index. And then focus visible, outline. Is there more to this outline? Can I just do outline offset 0? So I can get rid of this now. This, height, but I need to keep mask position and all of that stuff. So now nothing's going to change here because I did the nav clicked. So when I hit is clicked, everything looks normal. So, which actually that should have done the same thing here. The only other thing is this display block, which do I even need that? Does not look like it. So I can get rid of that all the way up here. I hit that and then refresh. We're good to go there. So let's see if there's any other place that this is. Menu bars, then nav clicked. So now all I need for this module component scoped CSS is these two. I don't even know what they're called in CSS. That's bad. But that's all we need from this file, I think. So next, we're going to look at navbar section, which I shouldn't need this navbar anymore, so I'll go ahead and get rid of this. Well, we'll wait here a second. So I'll get rid of all of this first. And then, so we have our navbar section. So at small break, which, what do I have this set as? Let's see. In small, oh, breakpoint small. Where are my breakpoints? There it is, 690 is the small breakpoint. So that's fine. Which now I'm confused why, well, yeah, I am less confused now. I was thinking about how this, like the default small in Tailwind was 690, but no, that's what I set it to. All right, so I know 690 is where we're at here, so I can do the minimum here again, so min 690 pixel, and I don't want to change the default here because I think it's going to mess up other parts of this, so we'll do flex, I guess, direction, flex row. And so we're going to do this a few times, which means that I probably want to separate these out a little bit. So let's take this and we'll do flex. Okay, that was weird. So then we have list none. which actually this is not a list anymore. It's a set of divs, so I don't need anything list related. But we can do our PS0, and then we can do justify center, and then we're still at min 690 pixel, justify center. Then we get to our medium, which, what is medium here? 1024, what is their medium? So min, media, let's see. Okay, so I know what I'm looking for. Media query. Responsive breakpoints is what I'm looking for. Perfect, okay. At least I hope so. What are the breakpoints? Okay. Still not what I'm looking for. Here we go. All right, so the medium is at 768. So if I do my medium breakpoint, so mid break is actually 1024. So that is actually large for them. So we will do our large, justify, actually flex end. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking for justify end. Perfect. So now I should be able to just comment all that out and nothing should change. But something changed. So it's something here. So I have a justify center at 690. Which maybe this just needs to be justify center until the large. So if I do this, no, maybe it just doesn't need justify center at all. Yeah, so it doesn't affect that at all. And then I come out here and it should just always be flex end. So let's do that. Then it should be end right there. Yep. All right. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of that. Then we have navbar, which I think I've already taken care of. Yes. So navbar should no longer exist. So I think it was here. Alright, so we can get rid of all of this, and that shouldn't change anything. Except for that. Perfect. And then we have our nav links class. Where would we have that? Alright, so we'll come back to that. So I'm not actually looking for that there. So that was all of navbar section, or it should have been at least. So let's go ahead and check. Yep, so no more navbar. Get rid of you. And then this is checking again, is open. If it is, we have nav active. And then with that, we should have, let's set this to absolute with top of 112 pixels with a min height of, I will look up what 50 view height actually is, but I'll put that there for now. It'll be set to flex column with justify between. And then I should be able to get rid of class nav active. I don't actually know that. Yep, so nothing should change. Width is open. Okay. So all that looks good. And then let's check what min height 50 view height is. G view height. Okay, so min height 50. All right, so there is actually no 50, so no problem. I can make it myself. All right, so nav active is no longer needed, but within nav active we have links. So those links, which should be in nav item, should receive a padding, P of 1.5 rem. And then I should be able to get rid of all of this. And so nav active, nothing should change. Perfect. So then for nav hidden, it's only just one class. We're going to make sure that that's true. Oops. Yep, so when it's hidden, it's just hidden. Oop, needs to be a string, and I need to get rid of that. All right, so now nav hidden, everything is good there. Perfect. So I have these still here. Sorry, that tripped me up. I have these still here for the SVG icons. So I come down here, we have is open, and then it goes between those two class strings. And then let's see what our next class is. We have it down here where we have our last item. So I'm going to copy that and find it over here. So our last item is going to need, and so this is a check that we did, I think, yeah, we did it with the card sections where we have the last item drop down to a different row and take up more width. So that's the same concept here where we can take the index, and then if the index plus 1 is equal to the length, because remember indexing is 0 based, so it starts at 0, but I'm looking for the total length of the array, which would be index plus 1, or last item index plus 1. And if I have that index, then last item is applied to the last item. So we're going to put that in a set of curly braces, and then we'll have P0 with block, and then at min, yeah, that's right, min 690 pixels, we'll have padding of 1 rem, and then I wonder if I still have it pasted. Nope. So min 690 pixels, we'll have scale of 1. I need to figure out scale. So let's go up over here. Scale. Scale 1 is scale 100. Okay. Scale 100. Then we'll do transition duration. So here I want to know, can I do, so we have box, we'll do shadow none, and then we can do transition shadow, and then hover shadow small, hover transition shadow. I guess I can't set multiple durations, so very interesting there. So we can do 500 and then do hover, do scale of 110, which should be 10% more, which that should cover that and that, as well as, I'm not sure if it'll cover that yet, so we'll come back. And then it should cover this transition. I'm gonna leave that there, but then I'll also do duration 500 for this. So this only needs to happen on small, so I need to take this and apply it to all of these. Okay, and that should cover most of the last item, but I'm not sure how this is going to look. So let's take this out. All right, so we've got some work to do here. So the shadow is going to not be here. And I don't know what this transition shadow is doing, so let's get rid of that. So the shadow gets applied to the last item here. But let's do it this way. Where is that last item? Navbar. All right, so we need that, and we're going to apply it to the first child. So first child. So style an element if it's the first child using the first modifier. So we're looking for the actual item within. So I think we would do, if we did let's look at our, is there hover here? Yes. All right, so let's just take a look at hover real quick. So we have our pseudo classes, hover. Pseudo class reference. So focus within, not what I'm looking for. First, last, only, odd. Because I'm looking to target it from the top level. But if I don't, let's take a look inside again. So if I can do, we have our nav bar, and we need the shadow. Where is it? Shadow none. So on hover though, so we need this one. And then we go to nav item. And so we'll say class name, and then nth child odd. So first. All right, so here's where things are going to get a little hairy, I think. So we're going to have first, and then all of this stuff. Oh, we want, well, first will work because I'm going to see if but I need to add it to all of these different class names. All right, so I see it, but it's like a big ol', it's very small. So if I can, I can show you, let's do large there. So I can adjust the height of that in a second, but and actually at bigger screen sizes, nope, it's still really big. So because that needs to go to the span. So let's do that, and then do the same thing here, just so I can see what it looks like. Bam, it's smaller, but I want it to be done to the last item. So we'll do last, and then last, and then I don't think I need to do it. Well, I wouldn't do it here. Well, I should do it here. So I'll click class name. We'll do last. So if it's the last item, that's where the hover comes in. So now if I get rid of the shadow small here, there we go, there's still a shadow, and it does not come from last item. Now, oops. So I still have a bunch to do in last item. That's fine. So this is one of those limitations of Tailwind that I'm starting to see, but let's do the best we can here. So last min for button. All right, so problem is that I'm gonna have to do this a couple times, and I'm not loving that. So I can do last BG. We'll do our accent color with our border. So border, accent. We'll do rounded medium because I do like that. And then it's going to be block with P of 8. And then I'll need my text to be, we'll do dark green, maybe, we'll see. So if I do all that, oh, it's going to the home button, because all of this needs to be set to last. Yeah, so I don't love that. That's just a lot to write here. But why is it taking it on the first? Oh. Well, it worked there. So do I have, let's take a look here. So take all of this, and then also put it here. So it applies it to all. Okay, so not loving this part of Tailwind right now. because I do know, and it's going to be so much easier. So I may end up mixing all right. So last item, we're going to go back here, and we'll take the last item span, and we'll set the background color to be so I need to set the variables. So not loving this, guys. So we have our globals here. These are all colors that I was going to use, but then I decided against it. So if I go to our Tailwind config, and we'll take all of these, and we'll add these to our global. Oops. And so I need to do, what is it? I think it's 2. Yep. Is it 1? How did I do it? Yeah, it's 2. Oh, and then I need to unset the, okay. 2. Perfect. Do that number. Do this number. Do that number. So now we should be set. Oh, I need to set this to not be JavaScript. There we go. So now I can go here, and then for this, we'll do background color, again, of accent, the border, accent, and really actually, well, I think I'm okay. Nope, because I need the shadow. So let's go back to do all of this. And so I have the padding, I have the block, I have the scale. I'll leave the transition because I like my transitions better. We need the shadow. I can leave that there. Now I can set my background color and border color to be accent. And then we'll do our variable color. We'll say dark green. We'll leave padding as 2, display still as block, which that shouldn't be necessary. Oh no, it needs to be necessary inside of span. Background color, and then change the background color to, we'll see what this looks like. Our dark green, and then color set to accent. I don't think this is going to be legible, so we may end up changing this. So now that should pop up. Yeah, I don't love that. So we will do, I'm cool with the, let's set it also to weight bold, and then we'll do, so we'll do accent and then dark blue instead. Then we can change it from dark blue, keep it with accent, and then I'm going to set that to uppercase as well. So yeah, I like that. And then text transform to uppercase. So here I'm seeing that when I hover, so I think this is on list item. So let's change that. So list item. List item A, there's some padding there. And I don't love it. So let's get rid of that. So is it still there? Oops, somehow got to my iPad. Yeah, so it's still there. Let's see if refreshing gets rid of it. Nope. So what other list item do we have? There it is with padding. I'm cool with it being inside. So what if we did room just to keep things normalized? So list item padding 1. List item A, list item P, list item A. Let's see what this looks like. All right, so the padding is still there. Now I wonder if it's because, yep, is it because of this? It is not. So where is that padding? Let's take a look. Padding 1 rim. What we'll actually do, we'll gap. No, gap won't work. All right, so padding of 1 rim. Where is that? Fuck. No, it's right here. So if I get rid of this, all right. Where else is padding? Padding 1.5 rim. All right, so let's get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of all of these shadow. Oh, that was a big crack. All right, transition, shadow, hover, duration, min, hover, scale. Let's get rid of all that. And then this padding of 1.5 rem. And if it's last item, it needs something, so I'll do not margin start, margin end. There, that looks good. So now, oh, I need to change that back border color, because it stays at the border, accent, and then border. Yeah, there it is. Needs to be dark blue. All right, and so I don't have a scale on it, and I think I'm okay with that. So we'll leave this how it is. All right, so that was a lot of work to just end up using the same CSS that I have because of limitations in Tailwind. I can't be as granular as I want to be, which there's a lot of benefit to it, but that felt like a waste of time, honestly. So we'll keep some of this stuff. We can get rid of our scale transition, but we'll leave our box shadow transition, which I didn't really see anything with the shadow. So let's take a look at that real quick. So we do a hover state, and we'll do hover to force that, and there should be a shadow applied somewhere. I don't see a single shadow. Oh, I think the shadow is actually, oops, I think the shadow is on the span when it should be on the actual last item. Oh, that is where it is. Oh, wait, no, let's do this number. All right, let's see if that takes care of that. All right, so hover. Hover this box shadow. Yeah, all right, so it's there, it's just really slight. I think it's made, can I do, what shadows do I have? Let's do a shadow at large. Yeah, that feels better. Still slight, but it's better. All right, so that's all good, and all that should translate here. Okay. So last item still gets big padding at the small size, but that must be a nav item thing. So what do I do here? So not at last item, but the last item does get all of the good stuff. So list item is what I think I'm looking for. So we'll come back to that because let's make sure that we're good here. Yeah, so that's the last item, or the last, we need to keep that class. That's okay. Then nav item container. Let's see if there's anything in here. Yep, there's classes of nav links, so let's find that. Okay, so in nav links, we can do absolute, width full. We want blur, we'll say large, and then I think I can do, no, it should be backdrop, sorry, backdrop, blur, we'll do large. Then can I set my blur color? No. So the background color, we'll want it to be white. I don't need to do background color transition as far as I know. The backdrop filter is for the blur. And then I need to set my transparency though. BG. Opacity, sorry, BG opacity. We can set it pretty high. I think 80 should be fine. And then left 0, margin top 0, text center, padding 0, Z index high. And that should cover all of that. Interesting that the logo disappeared. Oh, it's back. Okay. But I do that, and then... Oh, we have so many issues there. Oh, I know what I need to do. So BG white needs to be set to that to work. There we go. So let's set our BG blur to be small. There we go. All right, so much has just happened. So margin top, left 0. So now there's something here. That I don't think belongs here. So if we go to our nav item, did I leave a bunch of classes in here somewhere? Doesn't look like it, so let me refresh. Absolute. Yeah, because I haven't done any of this yet. So that's all right. And then I have my class name in my navbar container. Oh, it's right here. Well, this was fun for a little bit. Tailwind's kind of a mess. I mean, some of the things have been easier to pull off, but some of this has just been like, why is it? I don't understand, is what I'm really trying to say. So we have our nav item container. Then we have our nav links, which all of this looked great until I put it in here. Well, maybe it didn't. All right. All right, but I do know that I can come back up here and add all of that and figure out what's going on here. So span, do you need to be width 100%? No. Padding, okay. Oh, it's, I think for him, this component. So margin 0? No? Okay. Oh, all of these other ones have margins at the end. Okay. Starting to catch up. I thought. It's nice to have the calming music, but this is a little frustrating for me. So definitely not with auto. Okay, we have contact. Oh, so there's still, all right. So this needs to be min of 690 pixels. There we go. All right, so that was frustrating. Now I can get rid of all of this. All right, so which means then that nav links can go away, but I need to get span A. So I don't think there is a span A. So I think what happens if I get rid of this? Should be nothing. It is nothing. The logo gets blurry. That's a problem. All right, so we can get rid of that. Then we have drop down nav links, A span hover. This we shouldn't need a hover for this. So I'm gonna get rid of that unless it's just for this. Yeah, it is. So we'll do variable white's fine. Then we'll do our say, yeah, dark blue is fine. All right. So I'm learning a lot about Tailwind right now, and I don't love it. So I'm not sure I'm gonna go back through and undo a bunch of stuff though. At least not on the stream. So I may go back in and change some things. But yeah, Tailwind is not what I thought it was going to be, and that's not the end of the world. But it's definitely it's not flexible, and beyond it not being flexible, it's opinionated, and opinionated design is not fun when you're trying to not look like Tailwind. So I'm looking here, background color, so A span hover. That should be these here. So we have A span on hover. We should have a background. But we do not. We don't have a background added anywhere. So, but I think it's looking, is this not drop down anymore? Drop down menu. All right, let's keep working. So we'll do this for another couple of minutes and then we'll call it quits. So back to here. We'll leave nav links there. Let's see if it's anywhere else. Nav links span nav links. So that's nested links. Nav link span a hover here. So this is small break. Yeah, guys, this is not going to be worth trying to do. So I'm going to go back through and make some changes to how this is being styled and not use Tailwind. So I'm glad I figured it out now. I've seen a lot of talk about Tailwind and a lot of the benefits of it, but just working with it here, trying to figure out how to make it work for me is not working for me. So maybe I'm missing something. You guys can let me know, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try and think within the framework. And so I'm a solo dev. Like, I'm not working as part of a team with a design structure. I'm just trying to make a consistent looking design that I can use as a boilerplate as a starting point. So I definitely need to work with modules. And I know SCSS, so we're going to stick with that. So hopefully you enjoyed this. You got to see my thought process and how I'm thinking through these things and how I got to that conclusion. So Tailwind may be for you, maybe for your team, but it's not looking like it's for me. So, I mean, I learned with Bootstrap, so I get utility classes and all that. But at the end of the day, like, I just need to be able to handle the layout on my own on the front end. So this has been fun. I've enjoyed learning about Tailwind, but that's it. That's the end there. So, yep, again, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, subscribe, get notifications for when I go live again, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.